Hey everyone, so during these video segments, I plan on going over what I learned in my classes to get my bachelor's degree in early childhood development. This semester we've already gone through, we've already gone through 5 units, so that's 5 weeks that I haven't had a chance to get on here and really do this. So today I'm going to record all 5 units and what we learned during that time and kind of go over it, see what you guys think about what we learned and your opinions. I'm also going to go over the importance of it whenever each unit. I'm going to talk about how we are a statistic because we don't have a lot of money, and because of that we're considered high risk. And in my other YouTube video called Are You a Statistic? It kind of goes over the different statistics of what would be considered high risk whenever it comes to children development. And I kind of want to debunk the high risk because we don't have to be a statistic, and that's the whole point of this. I want to be able to show people that just because we're lacking in money, or you're a single mother or a single father even, that you don't have to be considered a statistic. Just, we'll go over important things you need to know about your children to grow them up in a really great way. So for Unit 1, we've learned about the differences between a critical and sensitive period in development. And if you do not know, the sensitive period is a time frame in a child's development where they normally will get their, will develop a certain skill. This includes walking. Most children learn to walk within a certain time period, but some children don't learn to walk at that exact time. And in a sensitive period, like walking, if your child does not learn how to walk in that time period and it's after that time period, then just because they did not learn to walk during that time doesn't mean they're never going to learn to walk. They're still going to learn to walk. It may be harder for them to learn. They may need a lot more help to learn, and be put in an environment where they can have more physical activity and stuff. Then there's the critical development in a child's life. And hi, Thaddeus. The critical portion is what scientists believe that a child has to get within a certain time frame, or they may never learn it. And if they do, it can be very strained. This includes bonding. When a baby is first born, there's a certain time frame that a child needs to have that bonding with a parent or a caregiver. And if they don't get that, then they can go their whole life without having that nurturing feeling. And it can affect them socially and mentally and in so many other ways. And I'm not saying that every person is going to end up this way if they're don't get that that bonding, but you hear of sociopaths and stuff like that. Most of them grew up in a family where they didn't get that love and they didn't get that bonding. And yes, after my teacher actually knows someone who got a baby that had been abused. They got her whenever he was 7 weeks old. He was abused. Whenever she got him, he had 2 cracked ribs and a broken leg. And he's 7 weeks old. It's been a year now, but whenever they first got him, he lacked that bonding, feel that love, and he could not show it, and he didn't understand how to show it, and he was not responsive to it at all. At 7 weeks old, that shows how much it matters to show love to a newborn at such a young age. When a child doesn't get that, it can be very difficult on him. And they have had him for a year now, and he is now thriving. He is. But he still has a hard time really, giving hugs and kisses and showing a lot of love, because he didn't get that bonding period during the critical period when he should have gotten it. That's why it is so important to give your child that kind of love early on. The other thing that we've learned is that whenever you have your child, there's 2 factors that go into that could potentially mess up the sensitive and critical portion of development for a child. One is biological, and the other is cultural or environmental. And biological is things like if a parent is deaf and their child's hearing. During the portion where the child's supposed to learn to speak, it can be affected by the fact that the parent is deaf, and so the child does not get that talking portion that they need during the time that they need it to learn how to talk right. And that's why, they'd have to see a speech therapist at a very young age and stuff, just so they were getting that communication portion. And then there's things like if a child or if the parent or the child even has a disability of any kind, it can mess up how they grow and develop. Or even childhood cancer, stuff like that. That is all biological. It's all things that normally are passed down by the parent, or if the parent has it, or if the child, it's like a sickness or something like that. Then there's also the environmental, and that's where a child grows up. Like, if a child is in an abusive home or a place where they get neglected, then they will probably not develop as well. A child that is, many times, and don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing any teen parents, because I was 17 when I got pregnant with my first, and my oldest child is now 4, and he's halfway through the kindergarten. So it really depends on the parent. But if let's say that a child is born to a teen mother, and the teen mother is not very responsive to the child and just kind of feeds the child, snack foods all the time, and lots of juice and, unhealthy foods, the child could potentially get childhood diabetes. It was the environment that the child was in that caused them to get this diabetes, which can cause future problems when they grow up. And that is environmental. Or if a child grows up in a family where there's lots of arguing and abuse between the parents, that can cause a social delay in development, and also a delay in emotional development. It can cause fear and trust problems. There's lots of things that could cause that stuff. A child can go without talking for a long time because of the fact that they don't feel they don't have that emotional development that they need, because their family is arguing all the time and they're not getting that connection they need. Then there's also culture that can really play a part in it. And there's some cultures where they don't really talk a lot, and depending on what country you live in, that's what really matters. Here in the U.S. and in Canada, and there is a lot of talking. Most of the time, parents will talk to their children. They know they're supposed to read to their children at a young age. Even if you feel silly, you talk to your newborn and, tell them how the room looks, and, oh, do you see that color? Do you see that shape? And just talk to them. That is teaching them language skills. So, in America, most children will learn to speak at a specific time. But in some countries, they don't talk to their children as much. They don't read to their children as much until they get a little bit older and they can understand. And they still learn to talk, but they don't talk as soon as many learn in America. Same with whenever they get older, they may be quieter or kind of held back and shy, things like that, because of the fact that they didn't get talked to as much. These are all factors that can play into child development. If you want to know more about the critical development period, go to babyzone.com. They have a lot of information about child development. It's actually through Disney, so it's kind of fun. You learn a lot of different things about development and stuff, and it's just a really good little website you can look into. And if you guys have any questions or, anything that you would like me to answer, just comment and I will try to get to that. Now, how does this tie into us statistic people? Honestly, a lot of, people that live in poverty or with a low income, they have a lot more stress because they don't have the funds they need, and they may not live in a great place, or they may have more arguments with their spouse, or may not even have another spouse. And because of all that, it can play a big part in how much, how we talk to our children, and how much we talk to our children, or, how responsive we are to our children. And I'm telling you today, I've lived in poverty for a very long time. Me and my husband, we haven't had a lot of money. We haven't, we've grown up together, honestly, because I was 17 whenever I got pregnant. It was very difficult. We've had lots of arguments and lots of problems in our relationship because of the fact that we had to grow up and be parents. We now have 3 kids, but we are flourishing. Our children are flourishing because of the fact that I was so sure that I wanted my children to have the best knowledge they could, so I started young. I tried to read to my children every day. I allowed them to, discover music through banging on pots and pans. No, I didn't have a lot of money. Pots and pans make great music instruments, and it's not like they're making a huge mess. Just rinse them out afterwards and put them away. It's not like you're even going to have to do a lot of, stuff. And honestly, it can be fun. Banging on pots and pans because you are, to let your children make music can get your stress out too. And we have exercise class. Oh, my children love exercise class. All we do is kind of jump around, try to do jumping jacks. Have you ever seen a 2-year-old trying to do jumping jacks? It is hilarious. And it doesn't even have to be actual, exercise, but they are having fun and they're getting a lot of their energy out. And they really are exercising. And you as the parent are able to exercise too because, you're getting that energy out also. And if you're not physically able to do all that exercising.
Mom.
Yes. Okay, just a second. I'm almost done. If you're not able to do all that exercising because you're physically unable, then, sit down and just, play. We like to play Mommy Says, where I get them hopping and everything. And just because, I'm not up doing it and everything, doesn't change the fact that they're not having fun. So there's lots of things that you can do. And you can change all of that. Keep your children in a happy and developing situation, and they will flourish. They really will. I always recommend that you check out a Head Start program, Parents as Teachers, things like that. They come to your home. You don't even have to leave your house. And they work with you. Whoop, careful, please. They work with you and your children and teach you different things that you can do to help your child grow developmentally. So that is the end of the segment. I hope you guys enjoyed. Give me, your comments and everything. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
We're watching